this second alternator setup that I got going on here. Let me flip the camera around. So what you're looking at here is the intake tube, and then over here we've got the turbocharger with the intake pipe. And so what I'm doing is, in a past live stream we talked about how we undid the AC compressor and actually put this whole entire bracket system on to support the second alternator. This video is just me kind of finishing up, putting everything back together, and there's a couple quirks in here as I'm putting this back together, and I'm basically just capturing it on video. So this isn't going to be a formal live stream. This is just me going through this second alternator install. It's a Nations second alternator install setup, and yeah, I'm going to show you guys what's going on here. So there are two tubes here. So I'll get this light out. So right here, so that is your turbocharger. And so you have on this, so you have another side. This is the left side of the engine, so the passenger side. And you got two pipes. You got that top one, which is the charge tube. It's actually pressurized. And then the bottom one on the left, or to the left-hand side, that's the intake. So that's the air going into the turbocharger. So when you do this second alternator, what you have to do is you need to take all these tubes out, because there's no way to actually work on installing the second alternator unless you get this out. You need this room. But on install, on reinstall, this intake boot that goes on the bottom of the turbocharger, that goes in first, and then the second tube actually goes in second. You're going to have a couple things here. So one thing that we can actually go ahead and install is one of these vacuum lines. So this goes into the tube. This right here is another one. This comes from the pressurized air. So this one just spins around, and we're going to have this come under. And so this is going to go right into here. And this clip has to be cut, so I'm going to come back and do this. So I'm not going to do this right now, but just to let you know that there's a clip here and this tube, and this is connected to the second charge tube, which is the pressurized tube coming out of the turbocharger. Okay, after all that's done, I forget to mention there's two additional vacuum lines right there, and they have clips. So they both, there's a bottom one and a top one. So those have to be undone. And that's pretty much it here on the top side. There's nothing else on the engine you need to get to. But if you don't take these charge tubes completely out of the van, it's next to impossible. I'd say it's impossible to get the alternator installed. So right here, just give me 1 second. I'll reframe the video. So what I'm working on now is the bottom part of these charge tubes. So this tube right here is what is coming out of the turbocharger. This is pressurized air. So this right here, this goes into here. But the reason that it's up in this direction is because this is where it gets really kind of finicky. By the way, that is the second alternator. The Nation's second alternator. And this looks weird that the belt is smaller than the pulley itself. That's just the way it comes. They put in the instructions that the belt needs to be set right here to the back of this lip. So just ignore the front of the pulley that's exposed. This is the proper way to do it. And then as you can see here, up top there, we've got the air compressor, or the AC compressor. And then it's really hard to see, but there is a new tensioner that comes with the bracket. And then this belt is a new belt. So the factory belt will not is not used anymore. So that gets thrown away. And then right there you've got just trying to get the wide angle lens on here. Let's see what I can do. Let's see how I did this before. Nope. All right, I want to keep going. So that is the nation's second alternator. This is the whole setup over here. So the van that I'm building, this is a 2020 Ford Transit high roof, 148-inch Ford Transit van. We're turning it into a camper van, and this is an additional alternator for charging the batteries. We'll talk about wiring a little bit. All the wiring harnesses are down there, and that's going in today as well. But let's back up here because this is where it gets pretty detailed. So over here, you have two pipes. So you have this pipe, and then there's another pipe that you can't see. These two pipes come out completely. And so what I'm doing now is this is the one that is going to go back in. So this pipe has to be on top of this fitting to be screwed in, but you have to do this driver's side over here first. Okay, so let's get this into frame. So over here on the driver's side, you've got these two charge tubes. You got this one, you got a top one right here, up there, and then you got this bottom one. Obviously, top one goes in first. It's the easiest to go in. This part right here has to be disconnected. And one reason I'm making this video is if we come over here, this right here is the big challenge. So I'm trying to get wide enough here. But this bottom charge tube, this top one has to go in first. See how this plastic one is on top? This second one goes in second. But not only that, because, man, everything in here is so tight. This tube has two places. It's got a place up here that my phone's not focusing on, where my finger is. There's a boot here, and then there's a boot here. But you have to put the pipe in both boots at the exact same time. You can't do one or the other. Okay, while you're doing that, you also have to man, I need this wide angle lens like right now. Let's see here. All right, we'll finish up with this. I'm gonna see if I can get a wide angle lens. Man, this is not working. Okay. Let me regroup real quick. I gotta find out how to get the wide angle lens on this camera. If I have to turn it on after the live stream, I'll just redo it. Yeah, so use this time to ask some questions. I'll hop back on the stream in just a second. All right, hold on guys, bear with me here. All right, I'm gonna have to just gonna have to work with this. All right, so down here under the van, that's a pretty good view. So we've got a tube underneath here you can't see. This is the secondary tube. So the secondary tube, this part right here has to be put in. This is part of the secondary tube right here, this hose. But you can only attach it when this hose has been installed to this fitting. So this one we're going to put back on, and it just snaps in just like that. Okay, so we got that sealed. We've got all of our other stuff taken care of. We have this fitting right here. So we need to just take this and snap it in here. Just like that. Okay, that is good for this side. Now we'll just, we'll move on to this other side. Okay, so this is where, so you see these tabs? So we've got the left side in. Now we have to get the right side in. Oh. And to do that, this has to come out from under, or from over the clips. So you have to undo it after you get the boot in. So see, now this is loose. And it can drop below that. I've not tested the WeBoost. Haven't done that yet. Okay, so hopping over here to this side. So now, since this is loose, we can come over here and put this into this boot. And I don't have this connected up top, so I may have to come back and connect it up top so it doesn't come off up top. But that goes like that. We're gonna put the boot here. I'll come back later when I'm off camera. So once you connect all these boots, so this one and then the second one on the turbocharger, then you can come back to these clips and you need to move this whole thing up underneath the frame. All right, so getting to the point of why I'm making this video is in the instructions for the second alternator now, there's only one terminal for a positive cable, which makes sense. However, there is not a terminal for a negative cable. So I called up Nations and I said, hey, you know, the photo in the instructions says there is a negative post on the back of this and my alternator doesn't have one. Well, the reason for that is it's really simple. It's a simple fix. This right here, all we're going to do is just, we're going to ground our negative battery cable to this. We're essentially just grounding it to the alternator itself. So no big deal. I kind of assumed that, but you know, I don't want to do something that the manufacturer doesn't recommend. So this is going to be the positive terminal coming out. This is going to be the negative terminal. Now, in a perfect world, I wanted to not have these charge tubes in here when I started running my cable. But I quickly found out that the big 4-aught cable that I'm using to put the two terminals here, I'm going to have a pain in the butt trying to figure out or guess where these charge tubes are in relation to the cable runs. So I said, hey, I'm just going to put everything back together and then that'll force me to find out, where I have to do these cable runs. So these two pieces right here, these will clamp together. There's bolts that will bolt in these clamps, and then once that's all finished, then we can just play around figuring out how the heck we're going to get these heavy-duty cables to these two terminals. So negative's going to go here. I want it to go up and out, and then the positive's down here, and I want it to go down and around. That way I can keep the maximum distance between these two. It's not a make or break, but it would be nice. Also, we've got some communication cables here. So this right here is I believe this is the temperature sensor for the alternator. And then this is the communications, basically this is like the on-off signal wire for the alternator itself. So it's really simple. It's just getting this bracket in here, and all this other stuff is, I mean, I've done stuff like this my whole life, so just, yes, I'm the guy that just takes stuff apart for no reason. So for me, this was not that big of a deal. It was more, the frustration was more, how do I neatly get my wiring to here so that everything looks nice and professional? It wasn't really trying to figure out how to get it to work. But as a DIYer, this is what I wanted to follow up with you guys. You should be able to do this whole entire bracket and this chain exchange here in a day. So if you were in your garage, you will not be able to drive the van for that whole day that you're working on this, because all your charge tubes are off. You do not want to crank the engine up or have to move the vehicle during this time of this all being off. It would be not good for your engine. Your engine will run, but you have the risk of sucking up something into the turbo, and that would be terrible. It would just, you'd be done after that. So, long story short, this is the new 280 amp alternator from Nations. I did it in 2 parts. You can see here that all this is installed, ready to go, Loctited and torqued down to all the specifications. My next job is to take the wake speed control wire and the negative cable. So if I hop over here, we're using 4/0, and it's going to take me about, so this is just the negative cable that we did in a live stream the other day. So this one is a 3/8 inch terminal, or battery lug, I guess you can say. We're probably going to use about 20 feet, maybe 19 feet to get from the alternator around the van through. So what we're doing is we're coming through this channel right there between the gas tank and the new shower gray water tank that we just installed. So we'll come up through here and then right up into here. So let's see if I can turn this drill on so you guys can see. So right here I've got this, I've got 2 things. I've got a rubber grommet that is RTV sealed into the van's hole saw cutout itself. And then I have a secondary boot, which is the one you can actually see on camera. That is the weather boot. So the first one is to protect from the sheet metal of the van cutting into the cable. And the external boot is to keep out, bugs and stuff like that, for example. And then this is what we did yesterday, just to show you guys. So the bolt that holds the alternator is different. The bolt on the alternator for the for the positive is going to be a 5/16 hole. So the post here that goes to the positive is 5/16, and the bracket bolt that is going to be the grounding location for this is going to be 3/8, but they're both going to be 4/0. So the other thing is the way that this is wiring right under here, I'm gonna have to feed I can't start here. I actually have to start here and feed the wire up around a couple components and some wires from Ford. It will be coming up above this control arm. It'll come straight up through here, and then it'll come right above and go around the sway bar. Okay, we want to keep everything nice and high, away from any type of, mechanical components. So nice and high, and then it'll be right in the middle of that rail so that we don't have any issue with, so right above that rail, no issue with the sway bar, and keeping it away from the exhaust header. So all these things you kind of got to think about. And then to wrap it up, I don't have to see. Let's see. Nova, you're doing a great job. So over here. So the cables, we're going to protect them with wire loom. And then this will also help to make sure, nothing chafes after we get finished. But yeah, that is what we're talking about. And guys, guess what? I'm going to do a plug here for I got a new DIY camper van course coming out. Really excited. It is launching October 1st, 2024. We just made our first pre-sale for the pre-order, so really excited. So the pre-order, you're going to get a discount for ordering before launch date. So between now and October 1st, you're going to get this pre-order discount, and it's just a thank you for going ahead and purchasing this before it comes out. I'm really excited about this camper van conversion blueprint course because all the questions that you guys have asked online, messages, phone calls, any questions in the comment, I've put all that together into this course, and it's just a great thing to help you with your DIY van conversion. So a couple of things that you can expect in the course. Obviously, I'm going to be in the course teaching you everything. We're going to get started and talk about all kinds of stuff DIY camper van related, budget planning, logistics, what it's going to take to take your van on the adventures and journeys that you're going to go on. We'll go through choosing a van, whether one like a new, used, two-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, load capacity. So if you're going to be hauling anything, or what type of engine size you might need because you're going to have a lot of weight in your van, all that fun stuff. Then we'll talk about design and layout. So I just did a video where I walked through this van and said, hey, there's a lot of things that you're going to put together in a van. And once you do a layout, it's really hard to change it. So having some guidance on what might be the best layout for you is going to be in the course. Over here, off-grid power system. This is really exciting because I know sometimes deciding on what power system to put in your van can be stressful. Do you want to go with an all-in-one system? Do you want to do a standalone system? Individualized components? What kind of mix is best for you, and then how much power are you going to anticipate using? I have a whole section there to help you understand how to properly size your power system. We'll hop in and talk about fresh and gray water storage. So whether you want to do a tank inside your van, a gray tank outside your van, how you're going to heat your water, plumbing, all that good stuff. Then we'll go over insulation, sound dampening. This is really important for a van, especially if you're wanting to keep it nice and warm during the winter, cool in the summer, as well as quiet. You won't believe how much doing proper sound deadening throughout the whole entire van will affect your camping experience at like a KOA campground, or if you're out in the wilderness. It really significantly changes that noise. So with insulation and sound dampening, you think driving on the road and road noise is number one. My personal experience is that when you're at the campground, everything's quiet. You don't want to hear noises outside, people's conversations and stuff like that. Not saying that you won't hear that if it's properly insulated, but it's going to be a whole lot quieter than it would be if it wasn't. And the last three things we'll talk about, exterior upgrades. So we'll go through this whole entire van build, not this one in particular, but we'll talk about the principles behind roof racks, what's a proper weight to have on your roof, different components, your layout, because once you go ahead and cut out a hole in your van, you want to make sure you did it in the right location and you have a plan for your roof. So whether that's doing 2 max fans, a max fan and an AC unit, it's up to you, but I'll help you kind of decide on what upgrades might be the best for you, or the course will steer you in a direction that might be a best fit for you. Then we'll talk about finalizing your build. So safety checks, making sure your van's not overweight, that you don't have too much weight on your roof. Legal requirements, so like registering your vehicle. We'll also talk about like financing, banking, getting a loan to actually build your van out versus working with a like a private builder. I've got all that experience from past customers helping them out with their whole entire process. So yeah, really get into the details on that. And then we'll just finish it up with, putting the van together, getting the bed, the camper van mattress, all the cooking utensils, all the fun stuff that kind of turns the van into a home and you're ready to go take that trip. And we'll talk about that. Last but not least, you'll get access to our private online community. So think of this as a forum. So this will be a private forum where all you guys can ask questions. We'll have the questions from not only Van Builder HQ's YouTube, but stuff from phone calls I've had, consultations that I've done with past customers. And I'll be in the forums answering questions, and also putting information in there. So really, really cool. So check it out. You can pre-order today. Just click on this link right here and you can go ahead and purchase the course. And then on October 1st, it'll be finished, completed, and it'll be ready to go for you guys to explore. And can't wait to put this together. But yeah, this is the pre-order link. Go ahead and click there, and it launches October 1st. So thanks for listening to my little spiel there. But other than the van course, also check out the DIY van build cheat sheet. That's also on vanbuilderhq.com. And it is the past 3 years of all of my shop purchases put into an Excel sheet. It's completely free. It's organized. It's just a cool way to see what's out there product-wise and look at the stuff that I ordered. There's an update coming because a lot of the stuff that's in this adventure van build is not in that list right now. So there's a bunch of stuff, cables, components, AC units like the Dometic. And not only that, there's the new Nomadic Cooling X2 48 volt system, the EcoFlow power system, a lot of stuff like that. It's not in the sheet, but we'll be putting that up there very soon. So that's the DIY van build cheat sheet. You can check it out, put your name and email address in, and it's completely free. So I'll show you that really quick. So if you hop on the website, go to vanbuilderhq.com. It'll be right here on your right-hand side. And you just click download, put your name and email address in. It'll be sent right to your inbox. And while you're at it, you can also go and check out the course. So there's the link to the course. It's called the Camper Van Conversion Blueprint. Comes out October 1st. But if you pre-order, you can get a discount as a thank you for signing up and getting the course. Again, feel free to go on the website, review what's going to be in the course, and let me know your feedback. Any live stream that I do, I'd love to hear your feedback on any questions you guys have about the course. So is there stuff you want to see in the course? Are there questions you have about your own DIY van conversion that you haven't found anybody else to answer? I was on a phone call today with someone who had watched a YouTube video on the window install. They were super happy that that video was available. They found it very helpful. And yeah, I'm always asking anyone that reaches out, you know, what's something that would help them in the future. And I want to ask you guys that same question. So if there's something on your mind, DIY van related, that you've kind of scoured around and nobody has given you the answer, let me know what that question is. I'll do my research, or I'll probably have the answer for you off the top of my head. Yeah, so that is pretty much it for today's live stream. We are going to sign off here, but I want to make sure you guys sign up not only for the course, but also subscribe to Van Builder HQ's YouTube channel. Click the notification bell, because I go live randomly throughout the week. Don't want you guys to miss an episode. That's it right now for some pointers on the second alternator install. As soon as I get underneath the van here and run my wiring for the power back to the back of the van, we'll do a little bit more of a deeper dive on the connections to this system, because the brain of this whole entire thing right here is the wake speed controller. This is the brain. So when I connect the brain to the back of the power system that we have, we'll do a live stream. You guys can ask questions on it. I've got a bunch of knowledge on this. There's two online courses from Dragonfly, and they streamed it live. And those two seminars, they're really long. Each of those videos is like an hour and a half, but I mean, my videos are probably like an hour and a half. So anyway, so there's about 2.5 hours of content that I watched to understand really how that controller box works. And I'll summarize it when I go to install the controller box. So if you have any questions on the wake speed regulator for the nation's second alternator for a Ford Transit install, get those ready. So when you can ask them at the end of this video, or you can wait until I do a live stream connecting this, and we'll kind of go from there. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning into the channel, watching. Love to hear your comments and questions after this video is done posting. And until next time, I'll see you guys in the next live stream. Thanks so much for watching.